I did not expect to hear this, as trade rumors for Steven Stamkos out of Nashville have been running rampant as of late. Jeff Marek weighed in on the situation recently and brought up the name of the Montreal Canadiens. We had to dive into this recent take from Jeff Marek about the Habs' potential 2C. Oh, it's crazy, but on a brighter note for the Montreal Canadiens, the power play has been unbelievable, and one stat shows just how elite it's been since Ivan Demidov joined it. And also, Juraj Slafkovsky has made his way to the top of a leaderboard and has been impacting the Habs winning more than I think a lot of us realize. We got to dive into all this on this episode, and we're going to start with Slav, because why not? He's been playing some of his best hockey. I don't think it's really a stretch to say it is one of the best stretches of hockey of his career. Now, the points I think are going to start coming a bit more, Jesse, with those assists, but the goals, 6 goals in 12 games so far this year, and we will get into the power play a bit later, but Slav, hey, he's been killing it on the power play. To be fair, he's currently tied for second in the league with 4 power play goals, only behind Draisaitl and Dorofeyev, tied with a few other elite names there: McKinnon, Kaprizov, Johnston, Lindholm, Kreider, Crosby, and he's second on the team in goals. I feel like Juraj Slafkovsky fans are realizing that, oh yeah, he's here to stay right now. But even again, I think the numbers almost still don't even do him justice, even though he's on currently a 41 goal pace.
But it's really the goals that are really so indicative of the impact that he's having last night, as he showed last night, Josh, right? Of showing that he's a vital piece of this power play that's kind of in flux and transforming right now. And really, he's becoming everything that Slafkovsky, everything that we want him to become, he's really doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we know Slafzilla is not in his final form right now, it's just funny, Josh, the timing of this as he's coming into his game, just as this Montreal Canadiens team is looking to become really competitive, obviously it's kind of perfect, but you'd have to say maybe is in large part to Juraj Slafkovsky just knowing exactly what he needs to do, because obviously the points are nice, the 7 points in 12 games for somebody who historically has had a little bit of a slower start, but it's playing the brand of hockey that he knows that he needs to play, and just how that kind of affects, it's the fit, Josh, of kind of that larger play of what it does for the Montreal Canadiens. You have to feel that it's just getting them feeling so good right now for somebody who's normally a little bit tough on themselves. So, just so glad to see this for him right now.
I mean, confidence is so key in so many forms of every kind of sport, and Slav is playing with confidence right now, and I think he's always had a bit of it, but now he realizes what he can do with his body, what he's able to do when he can shoot the puck. We saw some practice clips of him absolutely ripping some shots with Lane Hudson. He's putting the puck on net and it's going in. He's getting his opportunities and he's cashing in. 4 power play goals. Again, did we see this list? Do we need to look at this again? Look at every name here. And Slav is there. This is the elite of the NHL. Shout out Chris Kreider, who has 4 in 6 games. That's insane. But leave us your thoughts on Juraj Slafkovsky down below. But it goes further than just Slav. Again, this power play has been such a revelation over the past little while. And it goes I know it's been good. Let me just show you this. Over any team in their last 5 games, the Montreal Canadiens have the highest power play percentage in the NHL. The number one. We are 50% over the last 5 games. And Ivan Demidov, he first got on the power play 1, I should say, first full time, just 4 games ago. And since he joined there, they're actually 5 for 9, so even better. But 5 games sounds nicer. Jesse, this power play right now, the way Montreal has been rolling with so many of their top guys clicking on that same unit, this is changing the team. We're now almost in the top 10 in terms of total special teams, which is power play plus penalty kill goals for percentage. Credit to JFresh Hockey, Top Down Hockey. We're on the fringe of the top 10, and our penalty kill really hasn't been that great. This here has not only unlocked Slav, but it's unlocked Ivan Demidov and so much more for this hockey team.
Yeah, this power play is just so crucial right now. If the Habs absolutely not just want to get in the playoffs, but make some noise, but not only with how the Habs are playing, but the addition of Demidov on the power play and what that's doing, just has to have Habs fans feeling so good. We know you guys are feeling real good right now, Habs fans. There's a reason for that, and Demidov is just such a huge part of that. Again, it's been the transformation. It just goes to show that putting your best guys on the ice together who are healthy at the same time on your power play is normally a really good play. And that was the difference between us and Ottawa last night. We scored on one of our opportunities. They didn't. And it's been a theme for a couple games since Demidov. It's not just the stats here, but it's literally the points that we're getting as a result. Because, to further expand on that, the Habs were only 5 out of 26, 19.2% without Demi on the power play. With the addition of them, as you had mentioned, then going to that 5 out of 9, 55.6%. Josh, that's leading to a 0.4% improvement
Yeah.
on the power play with Demidov on there. So they're just being so much more extremely efficient, essentially like scoring like, as you know, twice so much more essentially on like a third of the opportunities here right now, which is just incredible for what this Habs team is able to do. So again, it just has to feel like this is just going to keep getting better. Like we have to remember, like this is early days. This is why this is so exciting. Like Demi's just coming to his own. He got the game winner last night through his shot, but you have to feel like as he's able to use that more and become a weapon there, that's just going to create more playmaking opportunities for Hudson and for Nick Suzuki as well. So this is really just going to be a gift that really keeps on giving to Montreal Canadiens fans.
Yeah, for sure. And again, like it's the playmaking. I think that's a big point, right? The fact that Demi can do what he does, create these open lanes, these opportunities. He didn't get an assist on the Slafkovsky power play goal, but it was his nice cross ice pass to Cole Caufield that opened up, that caused the defense to shift. It started, exactly, started all. He's not going to get credit for that assist, but Lane Hudson doing similar stuff. Like the ability to shift the defense that Demidov and Hudson have is why the power play has been rolling so well. Well, one of many reasons. But yeah, it's just going to continue. I mean, leave your thoughts. 50% over the last 5 games, even better over the last 4 since Demidov took over.
It's unreal.
Yeah, it's unreal, and it's a reason Montreal has the most wins in the entire Eastern Conference right now. It is crazy to be a Habs fan. But to quickly shift notes to the final thing today, look, we're so happy with what the Habs are doing. We almost don't want to change anything, but there's still some drawbacks. You know, maybe Monty could be a little better. Yeah, I think he's going to lock in eventually. There's the questions about Line A. Joe Veleno, some fans are like, he's all right. He's a solid 13th forward, but maybe we need a little bit of a boost, right? Because, you know, it never hurts to add some stuff. And there's been a lot of trade talks around the NHL, and some have been coming out of Nashville. And I want to dive into what Jeff Marek recently said on Sekeres and Price on the 1st of November yesterday, talking about the Stamkos rumors, because there have been a lot of them. I could wonder about the Canucks, and I could wonder, now that Patrick Laine is out, I could wonder about the Canadiens too. Something probably has to give here. And, you know, before we dive into this, again, this is just a thought experiment from Jeff Marek. This is not a solid report, but to bring up the Habs name, like, look, we've been in conversations about Steven Stamkos a few times from different people saying, Montreal makes sense, you know, just random people just throwing the name out there. And let's just dive into this. I mean, look, the problem for me, Jesse, is not so much the player, it's the term and the money. Like, it always comes down to this, right? Like, you know, why do we not want Kadri? Because of the term and the money, right? Like, objectively, no one's going to frown if you replace, for example, Joe Veleno in the lineup with Steven Stamkos with like a net zero contract. But the thing is, it's $8 million for this year plus 2 more years, and his production's been falling off. I mean, last year, 14 power play goals. Half of his goals were power play goals the last 2 years. This year, just 1 goal, 1 assist through 13 games. I think it'd be a big risky move for our front office. I'm not sold on this, but I mean, I can't help but wonder, like, man, it's Steven Stamkos. Maybe he could figure it out. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this whole idea here of Stamkos in Montreal?
I mean, maybe he could figure it out. Like, maybe, like, I am opposed to this, but there is that whole question of, like, you have to deal with how the Habs are rolling right now. You put him with Demidov, and Newhook, who's playing some good hockey. You have to feel like Stamkos, like, yeah, he probably would produce under this situation. Like, he has experience, which is a very light way of saying that he's won 2 Stanley Cups. Like, he's checking a couple boxes, which the Habs, you would say, like, okay, he probably produced well, even though only 2 points in 13 games, not the best this year. Feel like, okay, why isn't he the best fit, Jesse? Why aren't you feeling that? And again, like, I want us to bring in a vet. Yeah. I just find, like, you want to find, like, that sweet spot of, like, where you're bringing in a vet, but you're not bringing in somebody that, like, it's hard to word this properly, but that's not, like, putting into question, like, Nick Suzuki's leadership. Yeah. Like, you want to bring in a vet, but you're bringing in, like, a captain from another team that's been there for a couple of years, won Stanley Cups, went on big playoffs run. Like, it's hard to kind of shake, even if you're not wearing that C, to kind of shake it off if you're Stamkos there. And I find, like, that part of things of getting it really so right, I find is super important here. The more that we're thinking about this as well, it's almost highlighting for me, like, the fact of bringing in somebody like a Trocheck who can play that defensive game where, like, because Stamkos, you're bringing him in and then it's like, okay, but we're not going to play you on power play because we got that cooking right now. It's like, bring somebody in who can get you points, but, like, that doesn't need to play on the power play, can play on the PK like a Trocheck did. I bring this up because we are just referencing it recently. Of course, it's very interesting. But, with Stamkos, again, if we look over the years, yeah, there's been injuries over the course of his career, but, like, historically it's produced very well. You have to feel like the production, that's the other part of this too, though, ultimately why I would say no, it's not ultimately just to the fit. I think that the production is kind of going down, and again, like Nashville is a little bit of a cautionary tale, just like
Hmm.
in all of this, Josh. Like when you're asking me this question, it's like that fit is really important. That like just going out and getting good players like they did in March or so and Stamkos, like isn't always just going to guarantee that you're going to be taking a leap up the standings as a result. So I think being really selective and finding the right fit is so important. Ultimately, for that reason, is why I would be passing on Stamkos if I am Kent Hughes.
Yeah, it's hard to find the perfect fit, but again, like you said, like the idea, again, you can't just throw money out of the equation. But sometimes I like to do it, like to see, is it the player or is it just the contract? And more often than not, it is the contract. Like if you just, like I said, in a vacuum, just remove, say, Veleno from the lineup or remove Kapanen
Right.
from the lineup, which I don't want to do, and you
Yeah.
just insert a Stamkos, like you said, like it might be okay. But again, the 5v5 numbers have not looked great. He's been getting the most of his production on the power play. Now, his shooting percentage has, on his career, been a lot closer to 15%, 15 to 20, and he's at 3% this year, so that's due to go back to the mean. But 53% this year on the dot, 50% last year, 56 the year before that. There is value in Steven Stamkos for sure. But like I said, like I think this is a big risky move for a front office that is not afraid of taking risks like we did with Newhook, even Dach, even Patrick Laine. But I think those are different types of risks where there's more upside than there is downside. I think Steven Stamkos, as you're aging here, Hughes and Gordon have said they don't want to sign these big, long contracts where it's just a kind of a dead weight anchor at the end of it. That's kind of what it's looking like for Stamkos. But hey, you never know. Maybe retention exists. Maybe it could be a Monahan type trade. What would it take for you guys to accept a Stamkos trade? I'm talking like probably some retention and getting a pick along with it, but I just don't see Nashville doing that. I think some other teams might see some more upside than the Montreal Canadiens. But leave your thoughts down below. It's an interesting thought experiment nonetheless. That'll do it for this episode. And hey, thank you for tuning in every single day to the channel. And if you are one of those people, just double check that you've subscribed, because still well over half of you haven't. Thank you for tuning in every single day. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.